So, here we are. One of the metaphors for the practice is cutting a couple pieces of leather and putting it on your feet. That you can't, instead of covering the whole world with leather, you just cut out a couple pieces and then you can manage with all the thorns that are in your way. Otherwise, it's impossible. So often we try to change the outer conditions so that it'll ease our way, and really you just need those blessings, and then that's the victory. Like, you'll be able to travel, go where you need to go. And what are those pieces of leather that cover our feet? Someone asked me once, why am I sitting when I actually enjoy my thoughts and my thoughts are really productive, and I should be actually cultivating good thoughts and training my thoughts. So why let go of my thoughts what's wrong with my thoughts? Let me have productive thoughts, good thoughts, wholesome thoughts. Yes, it's true. It's true. There's a real use to your thinking mind. So they do have a benefit. In our meditation, we're not judging the thoughts as like something wrong with them. But who's in control? Who's in control? Who's thinking who? I mean, if you were to put all your thoughts on a scale in one day and say like wholesome thoughts, unwholesome thoughts, or never mind wholesome, unwholesome, probably the wholesome ones will be greater. I mean, we're not actively thinking negative or harmful thoughts. But how about just like unnecessary thoughts? Not unwholesome, but unhelpful, right? Let's just say unhelpful. Let's not make them harmful, okay? Let's just make them kind of, waste of mental energy. Nothing I remember an hour later. Didn't really contribute to my sense of inner peace and joy. But just like a habit that propels me through most of the day, that I take as so normal that just, I think it's me. I'm so used to it that that's just the way I am. 80% unnecessary thoughts. What's going on? Is that my day, my mind, myself? So the question we should be asking ourselves in our lives at some point is, what is the true source? Well, I mean, here we have what's the highest blessing. It's nice. What are the highest blessings? But it's hard to, blessings are a little antiquated in terms of the language we use, but maybe we do use that. It has a certain religious overtone in the translation. But what's your greatest source of joy? When do you experience your greatest joy? You can relate to that, can't you? What makes you really happy? When do you experience the greatest happiness and joy in your life? And is it having a really amazing thought? Well, probably not. And the problem with that is that you can have really great thoughts, and they do give you some energy, and it seems like happiness. But the next moment is gone. Where'd it go? So the impermanence, the instability of your thoughts and mental energy make it almost impossible to cultivate a lasting joy from. So we have to ask ourselves in a very honest and sincere way, what is the source of the highest blessing, or what is the source of joy and happiness, of deep contentment in my life? And is this what I'm devoting so much energy to really going to achieve that? Doesn't mean you shouldn't be devoting energy to whatever your occupation or your activities are. But what are my priorities? if I think it's really going to make me happy, or it's going to do true benefit and use in this world we live in, I need to be real sincere from a point of view of the practice. So, I was talking to someone who teaches yoga, and we were having this discussion, and she was saying, yeah, yoga is really just like meditation. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's true, probably. But I wasn't sure what she meant. She said, because, you have to, all the postures and everything are in order to focus your mind so that you can listen to yourself. And afterwards I realized, kind of yes and no. Because it's like taking meditation and thinking, we do want to listen. We want to listen. We want deep listening. But not to yourself. It's not about listening to yourself. I know this is going to sound kind of odd. It's about listening to your non-self. It's about listening to your non-self. What do I mean? Listening to yourself is listening to your thoughts and believing them. And then looking for what you think is a deep thought or what is a true thought. Or like this thought and this train of thought is really me. That really represents my higher self. When I listen to my deep motivations or my emotions or whatever, the problem is that those are all unstable again. They're passing phenomena. But can you listen without always creating a self out of what you hear? Does it have to be collected into this aggregate, that we say me? Do we have to do that? When the Buddha talked about the 5 aggregates, these skandhas, the way we collect into a sense of conscious self and saying, oh yeah, there are these forms and, and sensations and feelings and then will and like and dislike, and then my consciousness, and it's like, yeah, me. It happens so fast, you don't even notice that it actually is just a construct. Can we just see the parts without collecting them all the time into me? Why do we need to do that? If I don't need to do that, can I just listen to life without selfing it, without making it into me or a reflection of me? And what's my experience? What's my experience then? So again, what I'm looking for is the highest blessing, that deep joy, that contentment, that peace of being without having to be something. Because as soon as you start identifying with your thoughts, you're identifying with something. Yeah, well, this is the real me, and this is not the real me. What if there is no real me? There's just this. So what do I hear then? What's the silence behind the sound? What's the awareness behind the thought? What is that consciousness that we identify with being alive? Can we explore that a little bit and relate to that as, for lack of better terms, my true self? Then as soon as I start naming it and giving it a quality, what if myself is just the space that lets things be? What if it's open, clear consciousness itself, and not the object of my consciousness? Then, who and what am I? But life itself. Kind of like the air that can let the incense in, but the air is not the incense. Right? I can smell it, but it's just, that space. Or the light that doesn't have any color. It's only the color that reflects. So what if I can consider my mind in those metaphors a little bit, rather than actually having a content, having just openness, having light. Yeah. And then I don't have to be anything. And this is constant space. That's what we talk about when we say oneness. We don't mean that everything merges into one. We mean that which includes everything. Can you be spacious enough to include everything else? So, someone yesterday asked me, what do you mean by when you say like one? There's a text here I was going to talk about. I was going to read it. I don't know if I'll get to it. And it says, if you don't understand the one, it said, be still and understand the one, and confusion fades by itself. And she asked me, what do you mean by one? Like, that sounds kind of quasi-weirdly mystical. And that doesn't seem like we're doing here by focusing on, you know, this present moment. We're not trying to melt it into this sort of, I don't know what. And the one here is like what we mean when we say everyone. It doesn't mean a merger of all things into one. It means that which includes all things. So that can your sense of self, can your sense of consciousness, at the same time include everyone. So that you're not alone here. Even when you're sitting alone, you're not alone. Your consciousness is that which holds and contains all else. Everyone is part of it. What I wanted to relate to tonight, and if you have a question, because I'm not clear, just ask. Or if you want to ask something about the meditation, just do that. There are, the Zen teacher Suzuki Roshi talks about 5 types of mind that the meditation mind includes if we're sitting and we have sort of an open intention. What is the natural state of mind that meditation can open us to? The first one, of course, that we know and love is called beginner's mind. Okay, that sense of, all right, each breath I'm starting over, and I have no idea what's going to happen. So that beginner's mind is letting go of expectations. You may have a lot of experience sitting. You may have this. You may be sitting for the first time. We're all beginners. We're starting right now. Okay, we have not. None of us have experienced this moment before, which places us equally at the beginning. And to think otherwise is to fool yourself, and to rely on past, which does not exist. Yeah, your experience is something to honor and value, but it is not stronger than this moment. So take this moment seriously, investigate what it means to be here, and that's beginner's mind. So that's the first mind that we want to cultivate and sit with. As soon as we sit down, it's like, I don't care what's happened before in your past, you're starting now. And if you take that seriously, that beginning seriously, that's a real compassionate attitude. You may have made a lot of mistakes, but you're starting now. Okay? You may have caused a lot of harm in the past. You may have missed a lot of opportunities. You're starting now. And we all are. So we're equal in that effort. Let go of your past. You're starting now. And you can realize your mind fully. Just like all of us can. That's beginner's mind. Now, the next type of mind that he expresses is what's called non-gaining mind. So that's kind of interesting because like we want to realize beginner's mind and realize the total potential that we have to realize our true consciousness and awareness. At the same time, though, if you're expecting something to happen, you think, yeah, I'm going to be at the beginning, and that beginning is really going to be great. I want to get something out of it. You come to meditation, practice, you hope you'll be more peaceful. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay? But that intention can become an obstacle. You come to meditation evening, hope you become enlightened. Might happen, but it's not up to me. It's also not up to you. That's the crazy thing. And if you realize that your enlightenment is not up to you, then you start letting go of trying to gain it through your practice. Is that a crazy statement? My becoming enlightened is not up to me? Well, who's it up to? And not up to the teacher? Up to the Buddha? What is that? Then I'm praying to something. No. It's not about a self achieving something. That's what I mean when it's not up to you. Okay? Because if you start to plan it, that's just your self-planning. So sit and just see what happens. That's a no-gaining mind. Not up to me. The third aspect of mind is called big mind. Big mind. Easy to understand. It's big mind and a small mind. Small mind is I'm sitting. Big mind is sitting. It's not about you again. Okay? Big mind extends from the gaining mind. Okay? The no gaining mind is also big mind. Because if you're not trying to get anything out of it, then you've already arrived. And that's a big place. Okay? That's a big place. And it comes back to beginner's mind, where the famous quote is, in the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, and in the expert's mind, few. So that's big, okay? If you're in the beginning, there are many possibilities. Right? And if there are many possibilities, then you don't need to work so hard to get something out of it. And if you can trust your moment, that's a big place, anything can happen. So the room of the hall you're sitting in is vast. Anytime you sit, just know that you're sitting in a vast hall. Right? It's the hall of your original mind. That's big mind. Small mind is all the thoughts that you have about me. Like, I'm meditating and I want to get something out. Like, I hope this will help me in some way. We don't say I want to get something out of it. Right? But we do harbor certain ulterior motives that get us to practice. And there's also nothing wrong with that. Outside of meditation, it is totally legitimate to have certain aspirations. Aspirations, you do have spiritual goals. You want to be more happy, less attached, you want to suffer less, and have greater happiness. You have a deeper joy and more non-attachment. Those are spiritual aspirations. But when you sit down on your cushion, they disappear. Okay? And if they come up again, you just notice that, and you come back to something physical, which is your breathing. That's big mind.
Small.
Yes. I meant the big mind was letting them pass. But the small mind is when they arise. It's true. So big mind and small mind work together. They're good friends. At least from big mind's perspective. That frog is my phone. But, like my thoughts, I ignore it. Also outside of meditation.
It's a nice atmosphere. It's like Thailand. So
Yeah.
frog.
Yeah. I don't know what mind I have. Frog mind. But you know, actually there is this famous haiku. Basho's most well-known haiku is, in ancient pond, a frog jumps, splash. That's the haiku. An ancient pond, a frog jumps, splash. And that's big mind, that's really a big mind. But in the details, in that sense of, you know, there's this moment I'm fully with that moment. And it's not going to reveal anything other than the moment. At this ancient pond, and you know, I'm ready for enlightenment, and I hear the sound of a splashing frog, and that's it. You know, I traveled half across the world, and I heard a frog jump. Okay, I was sitting by the ancient pond. What were you hoping for? We need to connect our hopes and dreams with our reality. And that is the source of joy. And we saw this in the highest blessing. One of the highest blessings, he said, contentment and appreciation. I picked up on that word because that's big mind. Big mind appreciates what you have as complete, as not missing. Nothing missing and nothing extra. It is what it is. And that's the source of contentment and peace. And it comes from appreciation. And that's an ancient pond, a frog jumps, splash. Nothing missing. This was enough. Okay, this is enough. Whatever that jumping frog is for you, it's always changing its form. For that, in that single moment, okay, it's not like we're going to go out looking for a splashing frog. That frog for Basho was his moment. Our practice is to have just as much attention to whatever our moment is and to realize it fully. So there's a beginner's mind, and there is no gaining mind. You know, you can't get anything out of the frog or the pond. There is the big mind. Like, this is it. Okay? This is complete. The big mind sees the completeness of your moment. Nothing missing. Again, don't confuse that with not aspiring to anything in life. But when you are aware, it's complete. And you can even be aware of your aspirations. And that awareness can be complete too. But your sense of self is not based on your aspirations. Your aspirations are for the one. What does that mean? For the service of everyone. Beginner's mind. No gaining mind. Big mind. The other one was called free mind. Free mind? Free from attachment, free from desire. Okay, the Buddha marked out very clearly that the source of suffering is from desire. What kind of desire? I need something. I don't really say that, but I just notice it because there's a kind of deep sense of longing, dissatisfaction, discontent. And when we sit, we try to be at ease. Dogen said that Zazen, which is Zen meditation, is the Dharma gate of great ease. And that sense of being able to just fully accept where you are right now. Does that mean it's where you're going to be in the next moment? No. But this moment, can you fully accept it? That's the Dharma gate of ease. Right? You can make peace with your moment, not with the rest of your life. There's only one place to make peace, and that's this moment right now. And by fully acknowledging it and noticing it. So that's the Dharma gate of great ease. And that's free mind. You're free from wanting something else. You have what you need right now. Okay? And the last state of mind that is talked about is called faith mind. Faith mind. Faith mind. Faith in what? Faith in your own mind. It's total trust in your ability to be here, be conscious, and be at peace. To realize that spaciousness that is the nature of your own awareness. And even if you feel very small, right, feeling small is from a place of bigness. Otherwise you would just be, lost in it. But the fact that you can feel like, oh, I feel so limited right now, you can only say that from a place of space. And that is where you can discover, even in your discontent, some faith in your own mind. The nature of my mind is more than this. It's more than anything you can think. Don't be fooled by your thoughts. Don't ignore them. Don't believe them. Accept them and keep breathing. That's faith in mind. You are not defined by anything you think. Those are the 5 states of mind that we open to in our meditation practice. And they are active at any time, at all times. Do we realize them? not fully. The practice is not in order to cultivate a new state of mind, but it's to realize what we already have at all times. And that's that, that greatness, that spaciousness, that openness, that unity. Nothing missing.
Maybe regarding not in our not on formal practice or time in meditation, how these 5 aspects or state of mind help us to make good decision, or to choose good aspiration, or to walk with unwholesome state of mind. Because you say we have a state of mind that everything is already perfect as it is, and this moment is, but when we need to engage in life, so yes, we encounter very unwholesome things, and we can choose, because maybe it's a beginner's mind, but the present moment is a consequence, or is born from our past actions. So, and that action we do now we will born from them. So maybe how this, like, it sounds for me, it's like very non-engagement. So very seeing everything, non-attaching, like smooth. Yeah? But in life we need to engage. We need so maybe if you can maybe elaborate on that.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good point. If we're mistaking the states of mind as withdrawal in order to protect ourselves. But in fact, it enables greater activity, because the activity is not with the false hope that this is going to help me, that this is going to make me happy, or this is going to relieve my suffering. It's not based on that type of desire that, if I'm engaged, this will be good for me. But it's not for my state of mind necessarily. My state of mind is already, my practice is to realize my natural state of mind, and by having faith in that, then I can engage, and I have less of a fear of failure, because it's not about me as much. It's about cultivating a certain intention. So our actions are based on intention, not just for ourselves and helping my mind. My mind's okay, right?
Sometimes.
Not the thinking mind. Don't confuse intellect with your consciousness, your awareness.
But maybe my mind is okay, but if I do something bad, really, so it's true, I can say later, okay, well, yeah, and then I will need to suffer from the consequence of this bad action, from the internal consequence, from guilt or shame or sadness, and I can say, okay, my mind is perfect, but no, I did something bad, which harmed someone maybe, or maybe harm myself. But so that's what I mean. And if I'm doing something which is wholesome, so yes, I'm still not perfect. I'm still having a sense of taking care of my state of mind.
Yeah, unwholesome activities come from very clearly self-centeredness. Okay, it's real basic. When we cause harm, is because we're basing our decisions on a strong sense of me, and what's either good for me or what I think is good for them, right? Even if it seems altruistic. If I harm others or I make big mistakes, it's because I haven't cultivated the wisdom of emptiness, which is that sense of, me as being just a skillful means, right? But rather I've got some attachment to myself. And from that attachment, it makes less clear my decisions. So attachment warps my decision-making process, basically. So if I'm going to cause harm, the way to prevent harm is to notice how my thoughts are emanating or emerging from a strong sense of self. So I have to trace them back and say, okay, well, before I leap into action, maybe I should let these thoughts pass. And then when I do choose, is coming from a wiser, less self-cherishing point of view. Right? So I want to just emphasize that rather than disengagement, it can enable a more helpful or skillful engagement because it's less confused. Does that make sense at all? This is trial and error. We keep practicing, making mistakes, realizing sometimes in retrospect, sometimes only after the fact, I realize, oh, I made a mistake because I was actually kind of acting on anxiety or fear or self-cherishing in some way, right? Or like my own kind of neurotic needs. Yeah, I can accept that and say, okay, well, onward, right? Rather than judging myself for that, I fully acknowledge it. Fully acknowledging, and I think it said here in the highest blessings, fully acknowledging, mistakes made. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I made a mistake. Where'd that mistake come from, though? Where'd that mistake come from? It's not enough just to say I made a mistake. In order not to repeat it, we have to see the source of it as coming from a deep attachment we have to who I think I am and what I think will make me happy. So this faith in mind is saying that nothing is going to make me happy. Nothing. And if I accept that nothing, then my decisions are based not on what I think, not on these false hopes. That's why I say it'll enable a healthier relationship to the world around us. Because I'm going to relate not based on this sort of dream that, I'll get greater happiness from this. You will temporarily, but that'll pass too. Right? So we want our source of happiness to be from a deep nature. And then you're much more free. That's the freedom. You're much more free to act because it's not based on what you think is good for you.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes it's when you talk about everything, it just becomes dualistic just because of the way language works. It's very linear. And then we make mistakes. We act in some way that is maybe hurt someone based on anxiety or fear. And then we have those unpleasant feelings many times. Blame, or whatever, worthlessness, whatever it is. And then we can start having all the second and third error about it. So it's also about being not dualistic when it manifests, to really be with that shame also. Not avoid it. Not in a way of like receiving a punishment, but in a like it's the teacher knocking on our door. He's just giving a hard lesson. And really like being with that and realizing, also that, like for me at least, that really helps. Maybe not at that, like not being attached to the blame, but like seeing, oh wow, I can also have this. This is part of life. This is what everybody goes through actually. And for me, it's really helpful for not making those mistakes, making less those mistakes, because the point of view becomes this a bit different, that you can already see the outcome, and then it becomes less important to be so self-preserving. If that makes sense.
It does. It's important to notice in your reaction a difference between guilt and responsibility. Guilt is me. Responsible is, you know what, I'm going to own this decision and deal. It's going to become part of my path. Responsibility is taking everything as part of your path, even when it's painful. Because if you avoid that, the pain increases. Guilt is like, I feel terrible about this. Making it into like a judgment about yourself. Guilt is self-judgment. Responsibility is path. Is like teacher knocking on the door. It's like, but what I want to emphasize here is, and I'm always trying to, it's important for me to bring this back to our moment-to-moment and daily lives, especially our sitting, but also outside of our sitting, because otherwise it's just talk. There's no rush to realize and to get to where you need to go. I mean, appreciate the opportunity you have now. And appreciate the opportunity you have now. Every now that you experience. Cultivate appreciation for the opportunity it gives you. You do that by not trying to fit in so much. Your life is not judged by a quantity of activities, but you will realize your joy through the quality of living you have. And that quality comes from simplifying. Simplify your life. You can still be involved in very complex activities, but simplify. Be simple. Slow down. Take the time you need. It's precious. It won't come again. So appreciate this moment, and whatever moment you have, as the last one you'll have at that time. Okay? It's really vital. The way is vast, but it comes down to this moment. It's only going to be realized right now, whatever now you have. So place your attention and bring it back to the simplicity of being here. Even if your here is a very, complex activity. But your practice is ultimately very simple. And it's the same moment all the time, right now. Shifting form, but the moment remains. So see the simplicity of that. The forms change, but the moment remains. So come back to that again and again and appreciate that this is the awakening that you can realize. Whatever it is, that's your moment of reckoning, of awakening. So bring it back to this moment, keep it simple, appreciate and have gratitude for that opportunity, and trust that you'll realize what you need to realize. And that's probably enough.
Mm-hmm.
Let's finish. Unless there's another question. You can ask me at tea. So let's finish with 1 minute. Bring your heart and your mind back to your breathing, sitting, realizing the ease of coming back to who and what you are right now. This moment is fully available. And appreciate deeply and give thanks for the availability of this moment. You're alive and you have this. Open to that blessing of gratitude, and then Be generous with your love.